GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Shelton scores! Popping the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go hunt moose on a Harley. Fires, he scores! LA face with an Oakland Mooney. Make me a bicycle club. They score! Bowmeister! Ain't that man his money?
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek. GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us. I'm joined today by the usual crew, plus Derek Christensen, who graciously recommended the topic of the night, which is the focus of collections and the pros and cons of having a broad or narrow collection based on some of the things that we've seen lately. Just something to kind of talk about. So let's open up with some of Derek's thoughts and what you've seen and what you want to talk about.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me, and it's great to be with you guys. It's been a while. Yeah, I thought this would be kind of an interesting topic. I know it's probably been brought up in previous shows, but just, having met so many collectors over the years, it's always interesting to see what some people collect, those that have a focus, especially maybe a specific focus. And then there's other collectors that just kind of buy whatever they think is cool, and there's no, right or wrong. I'm just always interested to get my kind of different opinions. I know myself, I used to be I'll just buy whatever's cool looking, and it just kind of just drove me nuts. Because it just got out of control. I was just spending way too much money, and I'd drop a bunch of money on something, and then a week later, something else I liked better came along. And that's when I decided, you know what, I just want to stick to my main focus, which is the teams that I follow. So Western Michigan, Chicago teams, Blackhawks, Wolves, and that's just basically it. So that's kind of what I collect, but I'm always interested to hear what other people collect and why that is. So I guess I'll kind of open it up and throw it to some of the other guys here.
I used to be in the same boat as you. I used to just kind of go out and grab whatever. In fact, I'm still trying to weed out some of my, whatever stuff. I've since narrowed my focus quite a bit. And, I mean, the pros or at least the differences that I've seen just in my own personal collection here is, I'm not as hot to trot on anything that shows up. It's like a waiting game. You're just kind of, when you have a narrow focus like what I have now, it's kind of just a waiting game to see, when is that next thing going to pop up. And then it kind of, for me, it allows me to kind of build a little bit of a piggy bank to afford some of the nicer stuff that comes up, as opposed to having to always be buying things that I come along or have that impulse to buy. That's another thing that's helped me, is the impulse, But then you have to turn around and sell some other stuff because this better one shows up. That was the more difficult thing for me. Anyone?
No,
Go.
Derek, and I'm a big blues riverman, and then of course the side project being the Mike McKenna stuff. But it does. I mean, God, when I first got into it, let me try and buy every blues jersey I can find, and I was buying riverman stuff and trying to pick up other teams too. And I realized, I'm not that invested in other teams' stuff enough to really want to collect jerseys and tie a bunch of money up into it. So started getting rid of stuff I didn't need, and then even trying to focus some of even the blues and the riverman stuff to either certain styles, or try and get one from every year, but just don't overload with everything. And you see some guys that are focused on just one player, and you see those massive player collections, especially if they've been throughout the leagues and different teams. But and I don't knock anybody how they want to do it, but it's funny. You see some that get stuff, and within 2 weeks are like, I don't like this. I'll turn around and sell it again. But I guess we are a very eclectic group of people, and one day everybody's focused on one thing, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, you know what? I changed my focus. I'm going somewhere else.
All right, here's the thing about the buying and the selling and the turning real quick. Is to a game-worn collector, I think that mail day is like a release of endorphins. It's like you just had sex, right? And that's what these mail day things are. So you'll see a post by a few people, you know, mail days like every other day or some shit. And not too long after that, you know, they go and post something for sale because, you know, the high from receiving that jersey is worn off a little bit or whatever. But I mean, admit it, when you get something in the mail and you open it up and you're like, it's finally in my hands, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be something completely stupid. You just, it's something about receiving something and actually getting it. I think that kind of drives some people. Some maybe not so much, but I mean, at least that's what I notice.
Oh, I totally get that. That's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Derek. I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll really go months with a jersey, and so I get some dull at times, and just kind of like, oh man, like, you know. But you're just waiting for like something that fits your collection. So, so maybe for some people, like you said, it's like, hey, like every other day I'm getting something new. You know, that's what we enjoy. So again, everybody's different, and that's again why I kind of want to explore this topic, just different viewpoints, and you know what motivates people or what drives people. Because you know, as I mentioned before, we are very eclectic. We're very individuals, so it's just interesting to hear different viewpoints on it.
Definitely. Are you on Wi-Fi right now?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. You just sometimes you get a little bit choppy, but that's okay. But yeah, Eric, you're on the Blackhawks neck of the woods. What's it look like over there for you guys?
For my personal thing, it's, you know, I'm just a hawk goalie collector, so I'm very narrow-minded. You know, I just kind of worry about the 2 guys a year, and you know, if I'm lucky, it's the same 2 guys year after year, so I can, you know, try to get one of each style or color or that. You know, I'm at the point like you guys were talking about before. You know, you're not just grabbing everything and anything. You're being a little more picky in your choices. So, you know, I have pretty much the goalies from now till pretty far back, a pretty good selection. So, you know, if something pops up, I can be picky on what it is or whatever the case is. And I started out collecting, you know, stuff from my area around here, Rockford, Illinois. Actually, it started out when I picked up my own jersey that I had as a kid. We used to wear them as with the club and turn them in year after year. And it just so happened that with my first year, I put in my initials on the jersey I wore, and I didn't know we had to turn them in. Went to a Goodwill. Sure enough, here's the jersey I had as a kid. So that's kind of what started. I'm like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see what the other guys had, you know, for the pros, and that's how I got into the hobby. So, and then, you know, I just kind of went from there for the pros, and then I'm like, well, you know, I found my jersey. What about guys that I played in club or high school with? They moved on to college, so then it kind of followed them. So, you know, whether it's the Rockford Ice Hogs or guys that I grew up with or just were affiliated with in club or private teams, you know, that's kind of my focus. I'm a little more picky now with those two. You know, I started out grabbing anything humanly possible with those guys, but in some cases, you know, stuff you can't find, and the adventure is trying to find them, and in some cases you can find plenty of stuff. So, you know, I'm always about helping those guys get their items back too, because you can't always find them. Like we talked about, McKenna trying to get his stuff too. So, but yeah, my emphasis is the hawk goalie stuff mostly now. So, you know, you don't always see many things out there, depending on if they won the cup or whatever the case is. And, you know, I get along with other collectors that are Hawkeyes out there, or, you know, I know the other goalie collectors out there, and we have this, you know, not honor code, but, you know, if you want something, I have 5 hobby bullens or whatever the case is, you know, I have no problem passing on one or whatever the case is. So that's kind of my background of collecting as well.
You know, that brings up a really good point too, like the locale. You know, I found that when I narrowed my focus down, I felt less stressed as well. Cause like I didn't feel like I had to try and figure out, you know, who's doing what sales. Well, I mean, aside from trying to figure it out to tell people about through the news portion of the website, I didn't have to try and attend every single like sale that was going on to try and just find weird morsels and what they might have out of the norm. So now it's more geared towards for me Red Wing stuff and Luke Glendening, and there's still some pieces out there with Glendening that it's fun to hunt down or see if I can find, and that kind of gives me that portion, or like older Red Wing jerseys. But I find I don't have to like. It would be great. Like if I had an endless supply, I might try and get like a star player from each team, or try and get like all the different models. But I'm nowhere near that yet. So you kind of have to be picky and choosy based on, what you have going on in your life at that point too.
Well, and I think it's big. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and I think it depends on if you're a team collector or a league collector, or if you're a specific player collector too. I think that definitely helps. You're a locale person. I'm a locale person. I know the Hawk collectors out there, the Rockford collectors out there, and the Detroit collectors or Toledo collectors, or whatever the case is. But you also know, hey, if you're a Patrick Kane collector or a Crosby collector, or you got Sean Chalk with the Gretzky stuff, or whatever the case is. Sometimes it's just cool to just see some guy from head to toe have everything from their first starting day to the day they retire too. Some guys are into that. If I was going to do it, it'd be Belfour stuff, but I'd rather just stick to one team and just kind of go for those netminders for that one team. So it's just neat seeing what other people's focuses are on there too, and I think that's a good thing for like the expos and just seeing personal collections and stuff like that, because sometimes guys are just satisfied with the low end minor league guys that they've been on 20 different teams, and that's the challenge to them, is to get all those 20 teams.
The nice thing too is when you have a narrow focus, it might close. Like you might get as far as you can down that road, depending on what it is, and that allows you to pick up another one, and kind of renew the process over and over.
Yeah, definitely. I would just say too, like I know, and this is me personally speaking, now that I have my focus, I think I appreciate my collection a lot more than when I was just, buying just whatever I thought was cool. Just as Jason was mentioning earlier, I had some cool jerseys, but I wasn't invested in those teams. It really didn't mean much to me, and now that I have like just basically like my Western Michigan and Chicago teams, not only do I appreciate that more, but then I doing more research into those teams and learning more about the team history, and I guess becoming more expert about the jerseys, where again when I was just buying whatever's cool, like I had a really cool like Maple Leafs jersey. I'm not gonna get into like the history of like Maple Leaf jerseys or anything like that, just because I have no attachment, no investment in that team. So again, this is just me personally, but I just become more of what happened. Like I said, I think become more knowledgeable in the hobby as a result of that. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way or not.
I kind of feel that way now. My focus when I first started with NHLers, it was like, okay, I'm gonna get one from all the teams from like the early 2000s until now. Then it's like, then I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a list of who I want, because I want players I actually know. I don't want to get a random player like, ooh, I want this guy because I want this jersey because of this guy. And then I started going through. I'm like, some of these teams, I don't really have a favorite player on them, so I really don't want to get that team's jersey. And so then I started changing my focus, and then as my focus is now, it's either Calgary Flames, either some of the older or some of the newer players, and also Calvin Pickard, which pains me because I'm not a fan of the Avalanche or their ownership, but I met the guy and I know the guy, and it turns out when I started collecting Calvin Pickard, there was someone else that I was trying to compete against. So I thought that was kind of I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard, but it turns out I've gotten a lot more than I thought I would get.
Man, weren't you one of the ones that had like 8 mail days over the course of like 4 days.
Who, me?
Yeah, I could have swore somebody from the show was posting like a mail day post like every couple hours.
That was not me. I know that.
Not I.
Not I.
Maybe I was tired and reading or something. Dyslexia was coming out of me or something. I don't know.
Well, what you were, and that was Tom Deacon, right?
Yeah, that was
Huh?
Tom.
Yeah, that was Tom.
Yeah. So that actually made me think of like, I guess, a pro and con of the whole focus because you and I are both small makers guys. We're I'm a maker is available. Obviously, we both interested in that. Also, interested in the people who do these focuses. If there's people like more than one person in focus, it's creating like competition where maybe a positive of just kind of collecting whatever's cool, which not necessarily really competing against anybody else. Because hey, it's a cool jersey. Somebody beat me to it. That's cool. Something will come along, next week. Whereas like I collect like Western Michigan, so and that doesn't pop up a whole lot. So when it does, and there's not a lot of promise collectors, but there's enough where there's definitely going to be some competition if something does pop up.
That makes a very interesting point as well. When you have a narrow focus, it's pretty easy for a lot of people to define that, or if your focus is known, there's some people that just want to watch the world burn. And you might have those guys that go in there that are like, I'm going to get these jerseys just so this other person can't have it. And it's kind of fucked up, but people do it.
Yeah.
But
it's also the location where you live at, though, too.
There's that, too. I mean, you try to reach out and make friends. That way you can make stuff happen. I'm trying to get in touch, myself with my Glendenning collection. I know he wore a Providence Bruins jersey. I think that might be one of the hardest ones to find for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to track one of those down. Shit. He only wore one. He only played like
How
3
hard
games
would
with
it be
them.
to get red jerseys? Because they wouldn't go on sale.
What?
So I think sometimes it's where you live at could influence somebody's focus too.
Well, yeah,
What the
a lot of
availability
time
of
it's locale. It's where you live. Or the players that you see when you grow up.
Pockets, how deep are your pockets?
Yeah, like the dad suit
Some of that
collectors
stuff.
out there.
Aren't those all in
if some-
Europe?
No.
some people
Canada.
When you start out, look more how you vote to your favorite team. If like a pop team like the Blackhawks or the Penguins or the Red Wings, it's hard to get their jerseys.
Are you using that shitty headset again, Dan?
No, same one I use every week.
Oh, you sound like you're a mile away.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, and here's some of the weird stuff too, is it really depends on how the jerseys are, especially if you're like a modern collector. Like it's obviously going to be harder if you have a narrow focus and it's vintage. You got to snatch that shit when it comes up real quick. When you're a modern jersey collector, it's a little bit easier to do, provided who distributes the jerseys. So I know a lot of times some distributors will reach out to the people that they know will buy the jerseys prior to getting them or prior to listing them, and kind of reserve them for their better customers, if you will, that they know would want them. So that, like, if you happen to stumble across like wanting a specific jersey or a specific player that meets that person's focus, then you're kind of shit out of luck on it, because there's just no way to get your hands on it unless you get it from that person. It's like they have all-time dibs,
Right.
And that's maybe, some of how GameWorn.us can help, and getting into these teams where we can make it more of a fair thing. We can help sell it, or the teams make it much more fair. A lot of the backdoor deals is what pisses a lot of people off. You're bribing somebody or making deals before the public ever knows about it. It's all of us, I think, do it to some level, but there's got to be a little bit of a better way.
Yeah, if people know when jerseys go on sale, or even sometimes like publicize an auction or whatever, that's fine, because everybody's kind of got a fair shot at something like that. But like some of the location-based stuff, like the in-person sales only, Like, that kind of sucks. I just feel like you're alienating specific people when you do that. Because, I mean, you might be a Red Wings fan since you were born, but your career led you to, say, Texas. And so now it's just kind of like out the window for you. You got to rely on someone else. It's really tough. Alienate your
No, you
fans.
bring up a good point. You know, one thing I would maybe admit to the teams is that I think a lot of them are just truly like ignorant in the fact that they just, or naive, whatever to put it, they really don't realize that there's so much of a bigger market of whatever their local market is. You know, I think a lot of, especially like minor league teams, just assume, well, the only people that would want, you know, our jerseys are our fans, but then there's people like me that's like, you know, Western Michigan alumni, so like I'll buy a team, you know, doing this from any team, but they have, you know, a former prospect on it, and I think a lot of teams just really don't just realize that they really don't realize how big the market is truly out there. And you know, I know Derek, that's a lot of what you've really been working towards, is trying to bring awareness to some of the teams you've reached out to, that hey, there's so many people out here that would buy your jersey, you just don't really realize it, because people like me have a focus, and a lot of you guys are the same way. You know, I don't necessarily, you know, a specific local team, but you know, certain guys that play for, you know, the university that I went to. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that as well too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different collectors, and so many people don't realize it. So you have like your local fan that will probably just snatch up anything that they think is cool. It doesn't matter the player, it doesn't matter the year, and all that shit. Then you can have your player collectors, which can be anywhere. And then you have team collectors, or you have style collectors, or people that just generally think the jersey is cool. And all these people can come from so many different places than just your location. It's one of the things that we've been trying to work with the Admirals, Dan?
Yeah.
With their program. So they might have, you know, some jerseys there that they sell at the raffle, right? Well, the people that get raffle jerseys just think getting a jersey is cool. They don't care what model, they don't care what player, they don't care what set or anything like that, or if it has good wear. They're just like, oh, I want a raffle, cool. So the ones that you have a little bit more hard time selling, if it doesn't fall under a specific focus of other various collectors, so the people that aren't team collectors, or the people that aren't for that specific player, or the alumni, or tracking something about that specific thing, you know, you can throw that into a raffle and sell it that way, as opposed to, you know, putting a really desirable jersey in the raffle, and then now you're stuck with this other jersey that you're not going to be able to sell. There's a whole economics and marketing thing to it, and I mean, it's not terribly hard to figure out, but it's really difficult to get other people that are in these positions to understand.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's just, especially when it's the people that just want any jersey, whatever. I don't think they even understand how deep this game worn is, and how widespread it is, and how people focus, and just really what's all involved in it all.
Well, here's the funny thing, is when I started collecting, you know, Toledo Walleye were small and whatnot, and then they started selling their jerseys here and there. Well, just in the past couple years, I happened to see more and more Toledo people that have bought game-worn jerseys or specialty jerseys or whatever trickling into the big game-worn hockey jersey collector group. And it's been migrating like this. They're going from the Toledo group to the big group now. So they're actually starting to look into or become actual collectors as opposed to just fans. It's a completely different dichotomy. It's really interesting to follow. And we just got a message in from Neil Barron, who says, college alumni jersey collectors have the best of both worlds. A narrow focus of players spread out throughout a variety of teams.
Good point. Very good point there.
I would agree with that 100% because again, that's what I fall. So with and that kind of keeps going in the hobby because, like I said, I mean, number one, I would take an actual Western Michigan jersey or any other jersey, but those are so tough to get. I mean, I think you be bought like one last year just because they don't pop up. So collecting the alumni kind of allows me to, I guess, stay more active in the hobby. And as Dale was saying, I mean, the alumni are spread all over, so I can kind of still collect cool jerseys, cool style, all some different teams, but it also still fits my focus. It still ties in with what I'm doing. So I would agree with you 100%. It's once I kind of settle my focus, I don't say it's been easier, but it's been more fun in this hobby instead of, like I said, snatch I thought was kind of interesting.
It'd be really fun to see everything that everybody brings to the Chicago Expo, and you can always tell the guys that have the focus too, because their display will be centered around that focus, and sometimes it's not as easy to spot as others. So that's a really good and fun thing to do for anybody that plans on attending the expos. When you're walking around the displays, take a look and see how they have things laid out, and try and, before you engage with the collector, try and figure out what they focus on and see if there is one, and if you can figure it out just based on what they have out on display, and then ask them and confirm that. It'd be a fun little game. Maybe we can do like a little we'll get that's a good idea. We'll get a list of all the different tables that people are bringing. We'll take anybody who's got a table, and they'll write down what their focuses are, and then we can have different, whoever shows up, they can fill out little cards with the collector's name and what they think, and you go around all the tables, check them all out, figure out what you think it is, and maybe we can do like a prize for whoever gets the most right or something. That'd be a lot of fun.
I think that's cool. Yeah, you actually made me think of one from the fact that I've only been to I suppose, but it seems like everybody had a focus. I mean, they had, something specifically that they collected, and I wonder if that's because, and again, there's all different sides of this, but I wonder in some ways people have a focus or maybe a little bit more in the hobby or maybe other collectors, because if you have a focus, there's a lot of networking involved. I mean, you really have to rely on help from your fellow collectors. Like if there's, like myself, there's, like the perfect example, the shark sale a few weeks ago. Paul out there, the WFU guy, Matt Tennyson, that played for the Sharks, and I needed Paul out to get that jersey. So you really need to find your other collectors to help you out where you don't have a focus. I mean, you had invested in these expos and meeting other people because, you can buy whatever's cool off of eBay or the merch. So you really don't need to necessarily get to know people personally, not just people that maybe do have a focus. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely. I mean, especially when it's like location based, like you're saying, you definitely have to rely on someone. But without a focus, like every day can be a purchase day for you. You're not going out there saying, I need to find something that fits this specific narrative. You're just like, oh, that's cool, buy now. So I mean, it's a plus and minus, because I mean, if you're itching to buy something and you can't find it, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, because you're like, I set aside this money and I'd love to get something that fits my collection. There's nothing available right now.
Well, I think the longer you're in it, the more you would figure out your focus.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it changes because maybe you find it's a little harder to get what you thought you wanted to focus on, or more people are focused on the same thing. So, why are you going to do the same thing as everybody else? Maybe try to make your own path. Like I want to be this type of collector.
It's
So,
fun to
maybe
see when
that could
people's
change.
focus changed, like when Sean Chalk started hawking all those Anderson jerseys. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't a little bit entertaining.
Which Anderson was it?
I don't know. Oilers.
Come on, Anderson.
There you go. How do you not see that post, man? It's like you got a picture of like 30 Andersons on the ground. You can see the nameplate and the number of all of them. You're just like, damn.
Yeah, I don't know. It happens. I get quiet. There was no background noise.
Yeah.
You got off the shuffle of mail day post. That's why.
Yeah, right. Like 50 of those pop up over top of it. It was surprised one of those mail days wasn't an Anderson mail day. No, but it's definitely cool to, I do like to see when people change focuses, though. I mean, seeing the sales tactics is kind of like a cool thing, and I don't know. Sales have been tough lately, so anytime somebody sells something, it's always really, really interesting.
Or then comes the comments, although you're selling that for way too much for what you paid for it. Yeah.
It's what the market will support.
And it's just this, and for some people, it's just a suggested price. Like I have something for sale. I'm like, that's my price. I'm not saying I'm going to sell for that, but that's the highest I would want someone to pay for it. And I don't know. I think that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, definitely. I think we might have covered it, but there's always room to retouch on things. All right. I was going to close off the topic, but if you have anything to add, feel free. We'll do final thoughts.
I just know since I go for a specific player, I'm competing against Derek, and I'm fine with that because he's a really great guy. It's not like he's a jerk about it. And then
Which Derek?
Christensen.
Oh, well, if it was me, I'd be a jerk.
Yeah, I know. But I've been somewhat lucky, I guess, that some of the ones the player I collect has been on auctions, so I've been somewhat lucky with that because they haven't been insanely priced. I think that I don't know what's going to happen this season with it being switched over to NHL auctions, like this ran by Fanatics, so I don't know exactly how that's gonna go out or go.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You take your licks and you roll with them.
And I've always had a thing. If someone beats me in auction, good for them. They beat me, and they were willing to pay more than I was.
All right, well, we'll cap the discussion on that here now. Does anybody have any open topic that they would like to discuss? What's going on in your guys' collecting worlds, or something fun hockey-wise that we could talk about in real life besides me getting to skate on my synthetic ice rink today?
Were you doing pirouettes, and what score did the judges give you?
We had a little cookout and had some people over, and my cousin who played high school hockey came over, and he hadn't been skating in, like 10 years. He showed me up, man. I can't skate for shit. That's why I'm a goalie.
And that's why you'll let in a whole bunch when we
bullshit
play in April.
I can't wait to stone some faces in April. We still gotta get that hooked up, get that pickup game going for the collectors, man. I think everybody just dropped. I got Dan back.
Yeah, what's going on? Sorry, lost my connection.
Yeah, I know you lost your connection. When you lost your connection, dropped everybody out of the call, man.
My bad. I just was sitting here and it was just gone.
Yeah, I think we got everybody back, though. I think we're still waiting on Derek Christensen, but that'll be...
Yep. That was
I wasn't doing anything, man. I wasn't surfing the web or nothing. I'm just sitting here.
You got that Cracker Jack connection, man.
I got no Wi-Fi.
All right, I'll get
Derek. Trying to think of what
added.
else is big in the
Well,
hobby right now.
Well, I guess with the Ovechkin that just sold the other day for double what it was originally went for, his quote unquote first jersey. Did you guys see any of that?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw that.
It was like,
but
I think it was 16,000 is what it sold for recently, and it was originally bought for I think it was 8,000 something.
I think if you want to change focus, and just be able to like, hey, it's what I want to do now. Maybe why you change. Maybe say why I changed. Somebody else. If you're trying to collect something, and somebody else, then you got a bunch of other people collecting the same thing. Maybe you want to change because, you want easier access to what you want. Maybe you want to make it tougher on yourself. I think we said a while ago, just having a jersey to say, yeah, I got his jersey, and there's nothing there nothing connection for it. That's kind of like, it's kind of boring, Have a reason why you collect something.
Derek, welcome back.
Thanks. I lost you guys there for a second. Did I miss anything?
Nothing too major. Dan's connection dropped and it put everything to shit. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
blame Dan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dan, what do we got going on with the Admirals right now? What good stuff you got there? What neat jerseys are out there that we should tell everybody?
They got a, I can never say his name right, Barkalov. Ilana Barkalov, the goalie. I can never say his name right.
I don't know. It's a goalie jersey? It's a goalie
Yeah,
jersey?
it's a goalie jersey.
Cool.
Yeah, I can never say it right. It's the, BRYZGALV. Brazkalov. Ilya.
If it was Brizgalov, I could tell you, but...
I can never say it right.
Wait, they have a Ilya Brizgalov?
They have two of them. They have
You're
one
kidding.
of them that's... No, they have one of them that signed Mr. Universe. He signed it Mr. Universe and then signed his name. And the other one is unsigned.
That's fantastic.
It's BRYZGALOV, right?
Yeah. I can never say it
No
right, so I
shit.
apologize. It never comes out right for me, but he's been around. He's a well-known goalie, played for the Wild, played for the Ducks. He's Coyotes. The guy's been all over the place.
If he signed to Mr. Universe, that's one autographed jersey I can get behind. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he signed it Mr. Universe and then signed his name. The other one is unsigned.
Okay, that's an acceptable autograph, I would think.
They got a couple...
After some early season struggles, Brizgalov appears to have adjusted well to the pressures of tending goal in Philadelphia. By no
They got a
means,
couple
however,
John
does he
Gibsons,
simply blend
Frederick
into the locker
Anderson.
room mix.
Good job, boys. Good coverage.
His personality is a little bit different, but I really enjoy him. He's a funny guy. He was telling me today about the universe.
I don't know. Right now, I'm very into the universe. Like how it was created. Like what is it? The solar system is so humongous big, right? But if you see our solar system and our galaxy and on the side, it was so small. You can't even see it. Our galaxy is huge, but if you see the big picture, our galaxy is small, tiny, dot in the universe, and you think and we have some problems here on the Earth we worry about, compared to nothing.
That was a little clip of Brizgalov talking about the universe and why he's Mr. Universe.
And that's what sent him his popularity in being so odd once they followed him on there. That's anytime anybody writes anything about that, they always reference that interview.
They got a couple Danny Heatley's left.
Wow.
They got a guy named Max Furberg. The people loved him. He was loved by the fans. His arm on one of them is destroyed. I think he broke his arm in the jersey, and the fucking arm is just all kinds of use on the arm, holes and burns. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
They have Brizgalov and Healy.
Yep, and they have a couple Gibsons. They have one Frederick Anderson left. They have a David Steckel. They have 2 Calder Cup jerseys left. They have Barbario and Gudis have the Calder Cup patches on them from 2012. And then, of course, last year jerseys, the Admirals went ECHL. They brought in a 3rd jersey. So, of course, the 3rd jersey was like a throwback jersey. Pretty much the whole team.
How do we not have some of this shit on the website? Like, people need to be seeing this shit.
So I'm getting it, man. I'm getting it.
You gotta get it, dude.
Yeah, because both Brizgalov and Heatley, it'll be popular.
Why you have to be mad?
And they got some pretty cool things. Some of these jerseys though are marked for the next year's jersey raffle. I did speak to them about thinking about not putting the popular players up for jersey raffles, but the Admirals right now have their own way of doing jersey raffles, and I got to work my way into their trust where they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you gotta make those kind of jerseys available to people who want like that specific player, because that's the worst.
Right,
it's like with you and your lurgs, man. When they auction or raffle off like a lurg, and you're like, I wish I could have just bought that.
Oh yeah, the walleye. I'm not as pissed as you, but yeah, I'm right there, because you talk about you. If I wanted to focus on Jeff Lurg, impossible. So I have to go somewhere else. If I want to collect jerseys, you have to find what you can get a hold of. What can you collect? And then, like I said, have a story. Don't just say, oh, I bought that jersey because it was cool. Well, why? Why did you spend the money to buy that jersey?
It was cool.
Yeah. So, but again, I mentioned to him about not offering those good players, those popular players up for jersey raffles. But you can buy them now, and if I can sell them before the season starts, then fine. If not, then once the season starts, they'll be put in the pile for jersey raffles, and that'll be it.
There you go. That's the way to do it, man.
So I mean, they're giving me a chance to sell them, and so far they're happy. So far they're not giving me any complaints. I sell a jersey, I go down there, write them a check, mail it out.
And it's a stupid question, but are you keeping like an inventory log of what's being sold and what?
Yeah, they sent me their Excel file of all the jerseys, and I expanded it to my own. Added some columns in there, like date of sale, date I reimburse the Admirals and stuff like that. So I can look at a list now and tell you what they have, if there was a reserve price on it, like some of the jersey sales have a reserve price and stuff like that. I know which ones are marked for. The only thing I don't know is when. I'm hoping that when the season starts, they will tell me this game here, game 1 will be a John Gibson jersey for the Jersey Girl. Game 2 will be Danny Heatley or whatever. And this way I can get I can let people know, hey, you didn't buy this jersey, but if you want it in the raffle, you need to get a hold of somebody to buy you some tickets.
Yeah,
yeah,
be a way to do it.
That's what I was going towards too. And so much as something available in terms of an inventory sheet for the public or us collectors, or whatever the case is. You bought something third party. It's kind of a check and balance. People have migraines out there or whatever. If you're the go-to guy, hey, I bought a jersey. They said they bought it from you. Is that valid? Here's what my description is. Does it match what you have on the sales list?
Yeah, I did not put down who bought the jersey. I've only sold a few. I guess I can go back and look at. I can probably look back and really put that down there. I've only sold a few. I can probably go back to my PayPal and look at who bought them, and then write them down who bought the jersey. I can add that column in.
I think it was Providence in terms of history. Realistically, I mean, if you only sold a few, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, if you're 2-3 years into it, it might be a nightmare. But I'm just thinking, just in terms of a collector and trying to get involved in terms of doing history of what was sold and everything else, it'd be kind of a cool thing to have.
No.
Yeah, my own personal jerseys. I try to figure out who I got the jersey from, or who I sold it to, traded it to, whatever. And I try to go back and say, hey, who did you get the jersey from? Try to go back as far as I can. It's a process. Not everybody does it. Some people are a bit better at it than others, so you can kind of keep track of the jerseys. I know Derek's talked about that, for having that type of history on the website. So I've tried to keep track of my jerseys. So if that ever does come available, I can have information
Well,
for.
what we'll try and do is we'll try and get some of them jerseys up there at the expo too. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I plan on asking them if I could take some jerseys up there. Maybe they'll be like the Wolves and donate one or two, something like that.
I know we'll have a bit from the Crunch, Syracuse Crunch. Will be at the expo. That's going to be really cool. See if I can't get them set up with some sort of nice display. And speaking of the expo, Derek Christensen, he
yes,
you got us some pretty fantastic prizes recently.
Yeah, I think so, and working on getting some more. I'm really excited about this expo. I think it's going to be a great experience. I'm working like you as hard as I can to, make this a great experience for people, and hopefully it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with some of the jerseys you got, man. Some of the coolest ones. Like I'm gonna want to try and win one of them for sure. And
yeah, those Wolves jerseys are pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, dude. And then was it the alternate or a throwback or something?
The throwback, yeah, like the old cream color, just like has Chicago Bulls.
Awesome. Yeah,
that's a really cool jersey. So
we'll end up getting figured out which ones are gonna go to the raffle or the door prize. We're talking about having both. So if you walk in the door, you get a ticket at your door prize, and then for the people that aren't there and the people that are there, both of them can partake in the raffle. So we'll divvy it up and figure out what prizes are going to be allocated where, but we're still working on getting more prizes too, which is going to be really awesome. But you've been really instrumental in getting some of that set up, and that's really awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, and again, it's like I said, it's going to be a good time. And kind of going back to talking about with the focus, I mean, if just encourage people to come out to it. It's a great chance to meet other collectors, see what people collect, talk with people about their collection, and just network, especially if you are somebody that has a focus. I mean, as I mentioned before, I mean, it's just my collection's grown so much and so much better with the help of other collectors. My collection wouldn't be nearly what it is without other people helping me out and grab jerseys and get stuff for me and working out trades. It's just I think it's going to be an awesome time. It's a different venue than pretty much any other expo. Hopefully that's a good thing. And I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and I keep trying to challenge people to see how many people we can get from far away places, and I think I've got so far the farthest is London. So that's really cool to see people attempting to make it there from different
That's
places.
amazing. I didn't know that someone was coming from London.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see them. Every day or every couple days we get a new registrant. Right now is really the time too. We got the $30 just to walk in the door, but it comes with the lunch buffet and cash bar. But people who register early, they get $10 and free raffle tickets. I mean, you really can't beat that. Get your name in the pot quick and early and free. So hopefully we see more people getting on that.
When does that wrap up, Derek, the early registration?
We're going to be closing the early registration on December 31st. So if you register for the April Expo in 2016, you qualify for early registration. And I'm hoping we'll have hotel information too, so for the people traveling in from out of town, I'm trying to get that, or at least look into getting that squared away so we can start sending out emails and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, if I'm staying with family in Lincoln Park and just take the L there, or actually get a hotel.
Yeah, your call. I think we're gonna try and arrange for. I think I'm gonna maybe steal my dad's minivan for the weekend. That way I can help cart people to and from through the small little bit from the hotel to the venue with their stuff in a nice minivan.
I'll have my minivan because that's all I have. So
there we go. We'll have a fleet of minivans.
Nice little shuttle service there, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Tip your drivers.
Uber.
Tip your drivers generously.
I'll have to take the kid seats out and vacuum, unless someone wants to sit on a bunch of food.
Yeah, make sure you bring your hockey gear though for the pickup game.
We'll I said, if we get people that need gear, I can accommodate some of that because I've got plenty extra, so I can at least pack for it, only being 3 hours away.
You know, if you could get involved with Pro Stock Hockey, they're in Illinois too.
That's true. They're up that way, aren't they?
Yep, they're Buffalo Grove, so they're probably maybe, from downtown to there, maybe 45 minutes at the most, give or take. So that'd be good for them.
Okay, so weird tangent on that, but since you mentioned Pro Stock Hockey, that's where I got my all-white Bauer MX3 gloves. And when they shipped them to me, they gave me a deck of cards. And it's a stupid nice deck of cards. I just had to put that out there.
I've heard that too. I've heard that when other people have ordered stuff too. They just throw random stuff in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's branded Pro Stock Hockey, whatever, but damn, dude, like, it's a nicely created deck of cards. I busted out that and compared it to another deck of cards. I was like, wow, these are nice.
I went to, that's really cool. I had a collector do that once when I got a jersey from him. He included, like, a deck of random, like, hockey, football, and baseball cards. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. It's kind of a nice surprise to find.
Oh, cool news. The GameWorn.us consignments, 2 of the most recent ones we got are from Russian jerseys.
I saw those come in. Those are pretty slick looking jerseys.
And they're not too expensive either. I mean,
no, I know
they're
so
under
too.
$200, so definitely cool. The only thing that sucks about taking their physical consignments, so I actually have them here in my possession. So if you want pictures of specific things, I can take that care of it for you. But the detergent that they used apparently was not good enough because they're a little on the ripe side.
Oh, that stinks. Literally.
Yeah, I opened the box, I was like, whoo! So I've been keeping them away from other things. But
that
they're
must
very
be
cool.
a thing over there because I owned a Russian jersey at one time, and that thing just reeked. It was, to the point, like, I sold it for the main reason I couldn't even have it in my closet anymore. It just stank that badly.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. But you know what? You take the good with the bad, as you do with everything in life. Like, for example, Dan's connection dropped out, and then when it came back, right, all of us on the call are nice, crisp, and clear.
Maybe it was Dan.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to connect with Dan the very first time of the day unless he's got a good connection or something, man. I don't know, man. Come on, Dan.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what can I say?
usually think it's me.
However, it's set up people. Not everybody.
See, I usually think it's me with me living out in the middle of nowhere.
I'll
and
do
not
some
having-
research. I'll figure out how this whole connection thing works so we can always get the best connection possible. But I'm glad everybody's like on and good. All right, yeah. So, topics for next time. What are you guys thinking?
Start of the season, what we expect in jerseys for 2016, 2017 season.
Aren't they starting? Is it this year or next year? The first year for Adidas.
Adidas.
Next year.
That's not this coming year. This coming year is still Reebok, but the following year. Yeah. It coincides with the Las Vegas team. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, and so we got to see a little preview of what we think the Adidas models look like with the World Hockey jerseys, right?
Yeah, maybe we could talk about I don't know, fuck it.
No, we're gonna talk about favorite jersey models. That's what we'll do.
I'm also working to see if I can get Trevor Gillies on.
And that too. I'm trying to get Steven's girlfriend Katie to get us a date that she'll be available. That way we can get these significant others on the call for some entertainment.
Oh, definitely.
I know your wife's all down for it, Jason.
Yep. Oh, she's looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. But yeah, so 2 weeks, what we'll do is we'll set it up for talking about your favorite jersey model and why. I already know what I'm going to be talking about, my favorite kind. And we'll even go off to, we'll even spawn that off to like favorite design. And how about worst design ever? I know there's been a few articles here and there about worst design ever, so we'll definitely get down on that.
It's a good idea.
It'll be a lot of fun.
I mean, and I've been in conversation with some different people talking about the Blues Winter Classic jerseys, what the cost should be, or we expect them to be, and things like that. And of course, we haven't even seen what they look like yet. But I have a feeling, of course, they're not going to be cheap. But I would love to see them do like what the Wings did, where you get that whole, you can buy that whole package.
I hated that, dude.
You hated that package?
I fucking hated it.
It made the package pretty expensive, so if you're just after the jersey, it was not cheap.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, some people, if they collect if some people liked it, because obviously it knocked a lot of people out of buying it. Obviously, it made it easy for the Wings to get rid of everything. And if somebody likes to collect a complete outfit, then great, you know. But somebody that just wanted a jersey, yeah. I was like, oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah, well, that's when you see the packages get broken up anyway, and then of course everybody wants to complain about the packages getting broken up. Whatever.
Yeah, people want to break up the package. I didn't care about that. They're up to their. That's up to them.
Cool. Put it in the books. That's what we'll talk about next time. Do we have any final thoughts?
Just excited for hockey season, counting down the days. And of course, don't forget it'll be a tad bit later because of the World Hockey.
World Classic. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. World Cup. World Cup of Hockey. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, well maybe we'll get Marco on the on one of those calls coming up, and he can talk about World Cup because he's in Toronto, right? And that's where that's at.
There's gonna be a couple games in the U.S. though. I think a couple like exhibition games, if I believe. Because I know Columbus has U.S. versus Canada.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. All right, well, guys, you do have homework, and that's going to be researching different jersey models and designs and trying to find that hideous. We'll see who comes up with the most hideous design. Which one you guys think is the most hideous? So that'll be a lot of fun. All right, well, that's it for our show. So thank you, Doc, Dan, Tom, Derek Christensen, and Eric for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully we'll be able to get Derek on again. It's always nice to have you, man.
Thanks, appreciate it. Good to talk to you guys.
And all you other guys, you're my regulars, so you just are there.
That we
you just
are.
You just are. All right, guys, take it easy, and we'll play you out.
Later.
I'm good.